Welcome, listeners, to another episode of the show. I am your host with the most, Chris Talks. Hope that you're having a wonderful day because I am definitely having a good one. So I hope that you're having a good one. All right, let's get into it. So let's get into the top topic for this episode, which is pull it up on the big screen. Thank you. New York City parents file a class action suit against ACS. Oh, Child Protective Services.
Wait, what?
Really?
Bruh.
All right. Anyway, as always, I'm going to let Sarah, my AI, take over. And I'm going to give you my view and my opinion at the end of it. Let's get into it. Hit it.
Shalonda Curtis Hackett says her pain is still intact. I wake up sometimes from dreams about having to go get my children from a place or from a stranger. She said, I'm never in a space of healing. This is not a healed thing, I'm not over it. The mother of 3 in Brooklyn says her family's nightmare began in 2021 when she received a call from New York City's Administration for Children's Services Agency. I received a phone call from an ACS worker stating that there is an allegation against me pertaining to my children. She said. Curtis Hackett says the ACS caseworker bullied, deceived and coerced her way into her home. She did state that she would have to come see my children and that if I didn't allow her to come, she would have to come with the police. She said. The Brooklyn mother and 8 other parents are represented in a new class action lawsuit in federal court by the Family Justice Law Center, an organization dedicated to preventing unnecessary family separations. David Shalek Klein, founder and executive director at the Family Justice Law Center, says the lawsuit isn't intended to stop ACS investigations. It's intended to crack down on what he calls illegal searches. By using these highly coercive tactics to enter homes and search homes, is harming the very children who they're tasked to protect. He said, they look under beds. They pull out drawers. They read labels in medicine cabinets. They demand their children lift up their shirts and pull down their pants and disrobe. In a statement to Scripps News, Marissa Kaufman, an ACS spokesperson, said, ACS is committed to keeping children safe and respecting parents' rights. We will continue to advance our efforts to achieve safety, equity, and justice by enhancing parents' awareness of their rights, connecting families to critical services, providing families with alternatives to child protection investigations, and working with key systems to reduce the number of families experiencing an unnecessary child protective investigation. Every year ACS conducts over 50,000 investigations. According to the latest city data, a little over 28% of those inquiries resulted in findings of child neglect. ACS annual data shows Black and Latino families made up about 80% of reported cases last year. The city itself has reported that a Black child has an almost 50% chance of ending up in an ACS investigation by their 18th birthday. The ways in which the family policing system, CPS and ACS deals with Black families in particular is very different than the ways in which they deal with it with white families. Curtis Hackett said. Curtis Hackett said she found out that an anonymous caller had accused her of child neglect. Shalek Klein says the city agency's investigation later found the accusation to be baseless.
All right, listeners, let's get right into it. I have my blowhorn, so I get right into it. All right, so let's drop this real quick. So basically what I'm seeing, I'll give you all my view and my opinion. I did want, I wanted to bring somebody else in, but they not wanting to come in. But I will say this, okay? With their permission, I got your permission. Okay, I will say this. I myself have personally dealt with ACS. First, let's give ACS the dummy buzzer. Yeah, we gotta get them that. Now, for those my listeners who don't live in New York City. Okay, ACS in New York City has one of the worst am I saying it right? whatever. You know what I mean. They got the worst. Okay, now I could take it back as far as about 96, a child died in the care of ACS. Later that year, another child died within the care of ACS. 97, 2 children died within the care of ACS. 99, 4 kids died within the care of ACS. In 2001, it was one of the biggest stories which happened. I believe it happened on Staten Island, New York, which was one of the biggest cases for that year. I believe it was 2001, 2002. So again in 2004, another ACS case, neglect. A child died, 4 years old, a female. 2007, another child died, neglect. It was a young male. 2000 and what? Where we at? 2010, and so on and so forth. Okay, because of neglect. Now, I'm not saying this woman was neglectful and her what she's being accused of, but what I can say is this: the ACS system in New York City is not a good one. I will say that a lot of children are taken away primarily, okay, children of color with some melanin, children of color, and also children of Hispanic descent. There is and I will say this: there is at least an 85 to 90% chance that if ACS is called on what America considers a minority, a person of color, those with melanin, that their children will be removed from the home. Now, I did a story. I forgot which episode it was, but I did a story where a melanin couple was falsely arrested in Florida. I believe it was in Florida or Ohio. I'm not correct on the state, exactly which state it was, but if you look into some of my previous episodes, they were arrested and their children was removed from the household. For what reason? They were falsely accused of having marijuana within their vehicle. I do remember. This is the same thing. Exactly the same thing. Now, there's somebody I know that has been accused of certain different things. Okay, accused of and one of the worst accusations that you could get accused of in AC during the case is neglect. It is the worst. Now, the person I'm talking about, I don't know if they was accused of neglect, but I know that they have been accused of several different abuse cases, as far as allegations, not cases, allegations, as far as their kids not being clean, as far as their kids not being dressed right, petty stuff. And some of these allegations are brought on by, not even by I could say not even brought by like friends or family members. Sometimes the school district will bring on these allegations. Now, sometimes in some of these situations, I'm not saying all these situations are false. Some of these situations are true. There are some situations where parents do send their kids to school in some ridiculous, like, you know what I'm saying, ridiculous-ish. But there are those who are out there. There are some situations where they don't do that, but they still have to go through this process. Now, in this situation, I think the lawsuit is relevant. I think it's relevant. I think it's relevant. In this situation, I think it's relevant for this person to be bullied by an ACS worker. These ACS workers using their authority to involve the law, which I want all my listeners to know this. If you ever come against an ACS case and the law is threatened to bring in, tell them bring them in. Tell them bring them in. The law, don't nod your head, Brad. The law, okay, cannot be used against you. Cannot be used against you because you are sitting there not willing to let a ACS worker within your premises. It cannot. Okay, because even when the law is called, okay, if there's no abuse, you don't have to come in my house. Now, I can speak on this because I myself have personally been through this. If there's no, you don't have to come in my house. You can call a law if you want. I can bring my kids to the door. You do not have to enter my household. Neither does my kids have to exit my household. Listen, people, you have to understand these laws. You have no right to enter my house. Because somebody accused me of something, you have no right to enter my house. It's an accusation. They are coming there to find proof of the accusation. Now, you say my kids are in danger, I will bring my kids to the door. Do they look like they in danger? Oh, well, we need to look at the household. Do you have a warrant to look at my household? Ladies and gentlemen, just because ACS can come and address these things, warrants are still needed. Judges still have to pass warrants. And until that warrant is passed, you have these rights. You do have these rights. I don't understand. It's us of
Message.
it tends to be that us of melanin skin do not tend to read that fine print. Read that fine print, because the Caucasians are the ones that made it, and the Caucasians are the one that reading it and breaking it. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to tell you this: there's a very large percent, and you can look it up yourself. When I looked it up before, I think it was at 55, at least 55% of the workers who work for ACS, who go on outreach and all that stuff, they don't even know the rules, the laws of what they're doing. They don't. And then you also have to look at this. There's a what did it say? Let me bring it up. There's a 50% chance of minorities are melanin, what I like to call melanin. 80% chance of them being taken from the home. So, do I think this lawsuit is valid? I'm going to say yes. If all the evidence is there, and this woman can prove that Child Protective Services violated her rights, yes, I think the lawsuit is valid. But like I said, I speak on a two-headed coin. ACS does also have their procedures and things that they do have to follow to protect the child. You got to understand, when these Child Protective Services come around, they're not there to help you necessarily. They're there to protect the child and help the child. If they have services that you need or can help you get services that you need to provide for the child, they will. They will. That's automatic. So let's give them I give them an applause for that, because they do provide those type of services, but you have to ask for them. But if some parents, I'm not going to say neither here or there, some parents be in some messed up situations and they don't want to accept, the help. But to each his own. To each his own. You can't control people. So to each his own. But in this situation, if the allegations are correct and ACS did abuse, which I can say ACS in New York City. I don't know what other state you in, but in the state of New York City, well, in the city of New York, not the state of New York, in the city of New York City does tend, some workers do tend to abuse their authority. So if what she filed, if all the allegations is right and she can prove it, yes, I think this lawsuit should go through. I think she did the right thing, so let's kudos to her. And filing this lawsuit, because a lot of families, let me say this, a lot of families go through this, they don't know their rights. They don't even know their rights. So some people,
Bruh.
when their rights are violated, they don't even know that their rights are being violated because they don't know their rights. They don't. So my people, to everybody, anybody that can hear this particular broadcast, get that knowledge. Whether you need it or not, get that knowledge. Know how to fight back if they come and knock at your door.
Message.
All right, that's my view and my opinion for this particular topic. Drop a bomb on me. All right, listen, if you like this content and want to hear more of it, y'all already know what to do. Hit that subscribe, that like button, that share button, and don't be afraid to give me a comment up on that joint. All right, listen, I want to thank all my listeners for tuning in. You could be anywhere else in the world, but you are here with me, and I so appreciate that. Also, stay blessed and not stressed. Until next episode, folks. Peace.